Okay, everyone, welcome to card number 2 of our Saving Our Sanity Sunday Facebook Live. I don't know if I totally messed up that intro or not, but you know, what can I say? All right, so I'm back. I'm plugged into power, opened a window to try to get more light. All it did is shed more light to this side. Didn't do anything for that side. So continue to bear with me. I'll see if tomorrow I can concoct a way to get some better light in here, or maybe I'll have to do live at 5 at a different time. I don't know. But tell me if the lighting is too horrible and if I need to do something better for tomorrow. All right, so if you're rejoining me, this is our recap. If you are joining me for the first time, welcome. We created this card in the first segment of today's live. And now we're going to move on to the card that was advertised for this class that I posted earlier this week. That was my version of a card that I learned at our demonstrator meeting earlier this week. It was not my original design. It was not my original fancy fold. It was taught to me, and then I adapted it with my own little touches. So we're going to create that card today, and then I will explain as we're going what I added versus what was original to the card. All right, so we're going to put those aside for a second. I have to go behind me and get some ink because I didn't have that out already. So I need Old Olive. And I'm going to grab Early Espresso and Soft Suede because I can't remember which one I used. Ugh, I'll tell you, I don't know how people do it that host their Facebook Lives and go off the cuff. I would lose my mind. That is just not happening. I need a plan. Okay, so this is the card that I posted earlier that we're going to make now. So this is the card, and it uses the new Ornate Garden suite that during my intro for the beginning of this live at 5, this is the collection that is coming live for everybody on April 1st. It's available to demonstrators to pre-order right now, and elements of this collection are available if you join Stampin' Up! Between now and March 31st in your starter kits. You can start adding product from these suites into your starter kit and get it before everybody else. So this is Ornate Garden. It consists of a set of two sets of dies and 2 stamp sets. This is the Ornate Layers dies. So it cuts out all these intricate, gorgeous layers for your cards. And wouldn't you know it, I had cut out a whole bunch of samples for you. And then when I had to move my craft room downstairs, I forgot to grab them. But that's all right. You can probably visualize from here, and we're going to use quite a few of these in our card today. So we're going to leave those out. It also contains the Ornate Thanks stamp set. I absolutely love this stamp set. I love the bold thank you, so grateful and thanks. I love this script. I absolutely love this script. I bought this suite for 2 things. All those ornate layers and these script greetings. They just absolutely called to me. I had to have these. I love them. We have everything is built around the big, bold, thank you, so grateful, and thanks. So we have why, comma, why thank you. We have my friend, seriously, so seriously, thank you. Seriously, so grateful. Seriously, thanks. But you could also use that on another card. Seriously, it's your birthday. Or seriously, missed your birthday. Seriously, happy birthday. You can use seriously with a lot of stuff. I'm sure a lot of parents, it drives them crazy. Then we have ever so much. So thank you ever so much. There's from the bottom of my heart, which I'm using today, and I need that a lot these days. I'm sending a lot of thank yous from the bottom of my heart these days. There's so I'm so grateful. I wasn't sure how to, so I wasn't sure how to thank you. I wasn't sure, so how to. You can bring in a message for sympathy. There's so many different things. For everything, so grateful for everything. Thank you for everything. Thanks for everything. Just wanted to say, you could use that with just about anything. Just wanted to say happy birthday. Just wanted to say so sorry. Just wanted to say thank you, so grateful, thanks. I mean, geez, just wanted to say, good grief. You could use that with everything. Your kindness is so loved. You made my day. So here's a card. I love that. So grateful. So here's a card. Thank you. So here's a card. For all your help. So thank you for all your help. So grateful for all your help. Thanks for all your help. You're amazing. You could do happy birthday. You're amazing. So many different things. From all of us. And then for all you do. So this is just a fabulous set. I think you absolutely have to have it in your library because you can use it with so many other things than the thank you, so grateful, and thanks that come in that set. You also have, as part of this Ornate Garden Suite, the Ornate Style Stamp Set. Now this one does not have any greetings. It's just all imagery. So we have the large bouquet of flowers here. We have our single little, oh my God, daisy. I was going to forget what kind of flower it was. Our cluster of flowers here, a single flower down here. Then we have some nice little filigree detail for embellishing the card front or the inside of the card. And then just some neat little detail that we could play around and create some backgrounds down here. We also have it's upside down, Ornate Borders dies. And these dies are, as it suggests, border dies. So they cut out, this one cuts this whole entire strip out as a strip. This one is just a border. So it just cuts the edge. And then, if that's right. And then this one cuts just a border, but you can pair it and marry it with this one and end up with a detailed strip. This cuts just an edge. I actually use that on a note card that's down here somewhere on this dining room table. So this cuts just an edge, and this one cuts just an edge. So now we can start stepping up the edges of our card fronts if we want to. So I'm going to put all this away. This one just wants to keep jumping out. All right, so that is part of the suite. Where did I put that card? Oh, there it is. Oh. Okay, so this is the card that I created that used that detailed edge. So I ended up using it just to cut the front edge off of a note card, laid a little bit of designer series paper on the inside, and then when it's closed, it looks like it's part of the front of the card, but it isn't, and it just gives that nice little detail on the edge of the front of the card. So there's that, and then we have, where'd it go? We have the designer series paper, which I thought I brought down, but this is the majority of it here, but it's two-sided. So there's actually some of the pieces have some gold inlay detail. I mean, look at that. That's just all gold. Isn't that just gorgeous? And then some is just printed. This is a tone-on-tone print. This one is full color. So you have a lot of options with this designer series paper. Like I said, some of it's tone on tone, some of it's full on color, and some of it has that gorgeous gold inlay. And we're going to be playing with this suite more this week. I'm sorry today I'm so disorganized. If I hadn't had to move out of my craft room at the last minute, this would have been so much better. But I'm going to be back tomorrow with another card using this suite. So I'll be able to show you the ribbon and the cardstock and everything tomorrow because I promise I'll be more organized. So for building this card, we need our Old Olive base. And again, it's a 5.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. We scored it at 1 3/4, 5.5, and 9 3/4. So after you've done that, you just fold it so that it interlocks like this. Then for the inside flap here, or the front inside flap, we have our designer series paper that's cut 3.5 by 5 1/4, not 5.5 like I accidentally cut for the last card. Then we have a strip that's 1 inch by 5 1/4 and 1.5 by 5 1/4. And that is for the other remaining flaps on the card. So we may as well adhere those first before I lose them. I think this is only about the second time I've stamped in my dining room. I think the only one that's happy that I'm down here instead of upstairs is Midge. So she can lay at my feet because the dogs usually don't come upstairs. Well, she goes upstairs with my husband, but usually the dogs don't come in my craft room. Libby likes to pick things up and run off with them. Bo's just a whirling dervish. And Ray has to stay downstairs and keep everyone else company. So usually I'm upstairs in my craft room all by myself. Okay, so there's that piece. Then we're going to take our thinner strip and we're going to put glue on that beautiful gold paper. Good thing we can always buy more. Decide which way I want my pattern to go. And we're going to put that down on the front. Try to make sure it's straight. Okay. So now you'll see that's how that card works, right? So when you open it, it looks like that. Okay, so for the front, again, we need our belly band, 1 inch by 11. And then if you don't want so much, bulk underneath, I just chopped off like 1 1/4 inch worth off of one end. Just going to use this because it's handy. Okay. Now, this is where it gets tricky. But not too tricky, just tricky. This piece right here, make sure it's upside right, comes out of this die set, and it's this piece right here. Okay? But when you die cut it, all right, when you die cut it, it is too wide for a 4 1/4 inch wide piece of, of card front. Okay? So we need to cut it down. So I cut it down basically by 1 scallop. So see, it's a little bit shorter. And now it fits on the card, front of the card, and it fits in an envelope. So how do we do that? Well, there's a trick. And I need a piece of cardstock so I can show it to you. And I had a piece. Okay, so here's a piece of cardstock. Now just to save cardstock, this piece is 2 1/8 inches wide. So I'm going to come in with my Big Shot, and this table is way more secure than the one upstairs, so I may not shake you when I use it. I just have to be able to turn the handle under my stand. Okay, so we're going to take our cardstock, and just to get rid of some mess, I'm going to cut that off. We've got our cardstock, and then we have our die, okay? And I know, am I in the camera? I can't tell. I know I want to cut off, that I need to lose 1 scallop, right? So I'm going to take my washi tape, and I'm going to put it about the third full scallop from the corner. And then I'm going to slide my plate so that it ends, so the top plate ends at my tape. And that's going to serve 2 purposes. It's going to hold, the washi tape's going to serve 2 purposes. It's going to hold, oh, I still did jiggle you. It's going to hold the cardstock to the die, but it's also going to tell me where I ended. So I ended at the tippity top of that washi tape. All right, so I'm going to pull this off gently. I'm going to remove the die, and I'm going to overlap. I'm going to overlap it. Whoops, I got to come down 1, 2. I have to come down 2. And I just want to do a quick measurement before I send this through the Big Shot and make sure that I've done this correctly. Because I know I don't want it to be much more than 4 1/4. I'm off 1. I have to come forward 1 more. No, I don't. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Pay attention to what you're doing, Mary. I'm trying to fit this back into the die. And I don't know how to follow my own directions. Good grief. It's because it didn't cut all the way to that washi tape like I wanted it to. All right, now I'm in the right place. Okay, so to make this easier for you, keep it simple, Mary, is instead of having this die cut piece that I already cut back into the die on this end, I moved it forward 1 scallop. All right, you with me? So I put it back in the die, but I moved it ahead 1 scallop. And it's all lined up here. But I don't want to run it through the machine all the way with the whole entire thing covered by a plate, because it's going to make a mess of this edge here. So I'm going to take, this is when you take your washi tape again. And I know from right here is where I stopped the last time. So I'm going to put my washi tape right below that piece. I'm going to put this back down onto my mat. Then I take my top plate, put it back on, but I end at that washi tape because I don't want to cut past the washi tape. Crank it through again And then we'll check it one more time before we take the whole thing apart. Okay. Feed it out. And we're gonna hope I lined this up right. And I did. Okay. So now you remove the tape, poke all the little gizmos out, and now you have a shorter version. Okay, so this is the one that I showed you that we're going to use. This is the one we just cut. And this is what the full die cuts. So see how much longer it is? So you would use this longer one if your card was going landscape at the 5.5. But because we're going 4 1/4, we needed to shorten it. And by the same token, depending on where you put that plate, that top cutting plate, you could even cut it all the way down to here and have just a little tiny thing. So that's how you can use this die in multiple ways and cut it multiple sizes. All right, Midge, you get a big shot. Oh, okay, so the big shot went to live with Midgie. All right, so now you know how to do this shorter, make this die shorter so you can use it on a 4 1/4 width card. Next, we're going to come in with our stamp. And because I'm using photopolymer, I want to have my Stampin' Pierce mat for that extra cushioning. This die cut strip here that we're going to stamp our greeting on, that came from this die set too. So that's this one right here. And again, using that same technique with your plate, you can make it longer or shorter and customize it to the size of your greeting. But because this coordinates with the stamp set, it is already the exact size that we need. So I need the thank you. And luckily, when I was prepping, I put it back in the stamp set. Or that would be fun. I'd have to run up into the oven and try to find it. From the bottom of my heart is this one right here. Now, because these are photopolymer, I also suggest that instead of taking your block to your stamp, that you take that instead of putting your stamp on your block, you put your block on your stamp. Because otherwise you could get curvature that you're not aware of. So what I like to do is just throw them down on the surface, let them take their natural straight shape, and then I can pick them up with my block. So for this one, I'm going to use this really big block. This is the E block. For this little guy here, I'm going to use this one. And I do it at an angle because of this kind of mirrored beveled edge. Sometimes it can throw you off if you have your stamp on perfectly straight. So I've got my die cut already. I've got my stamp on my block. I need my old olive. I can hear Bo having a fit downstairs. I had to throw him in the dog room with Ray while the air conditioning guy was here. And it's 6 o'clock, it's dinner time. He's like, Mom, did you forget about us down here in the dog room? I'd like to eat. Well, Bo, I'd like a lot of things. I put a pool, a little doggy pool in the backyard for him yesterday. He had so much fun racing and running that he tore both, every pad on both front feet to shreds. Now he's limping because it hurts to walk. And now he's back in his crate healing for like another week after just having 6 weeks for a strained ACL. So yes, my life just keeps getting better and better. Try to do something nice for the guy, and look what he does. Boys. That's all I can say. boys, whether they're human boys or dog boys. They're just a mess. Okay, so now I have my thank you on there. And I'm going to try to get this on here. I need my glasses. This is ridiculous. Where did I put my glasses? If I stand, I can't see. And if I get really close to the stamp, all you're going to see is the top of my head. There's no easy answer. All right, so I want to layer, I want this close to the top of the thank you. So it stays within the parameter of the die. Okay, not too bad for not being able to see what I'm doing. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Okay, so, back to the original card. So the original card that I learned during our virtual team meeting, they had done the fancy fold. They had laid out their designer series paper just like this. They had the belly band just like this. And then, except they had done their seam on the rear to hide it from the front. And then this piece here just simply glued to the front of the card. Okay, so this is what the card looked like for the original. So what I added, being that I always have to add a little bit of me to my cards, is I added this die cut piece and figured out how to make it shorter for myself. And then I wanted to bring in a little pop of color. So I have this piece of terracotta tile, and I basically just measured the inside of the dots here with my ruler to get the right size to fit inside the middle there. And let me see, it's got to be 1 1/8 by 1, 2, 3 5/8. But when you get yours and you play around with extending and shortening this die, all you need to do is take your ruler and measure the space that you have left on the inside, and that's what you'll know to add for your pop of color. So this is going to get flat glued. Now, I did not use dimensionals and add extra layers on this one because I think there's so much bulk as it is with the fancy fold. And right now, when I mail my cards, I'm trying not to have to go to the post office or go to the window, because it's probably bad enough working with the public right now, whether you're in retail or a postal worker or UPS and all the people you're coming in contact with. I'm trying to come in contact with as few people as possible. And actually, I have not left my house in 2 weeks, over 2 weeks. I talked to my neighbor across the street yesterday from about 10 feet away. And that was the first human contact I had had in over 2 weeks. I'm beginning to go a little batty. Okay, now the other thing I messed up, and if I were you, the adhesive should have been put on the belly band, not on the die. But I was babbling and not paying attention. And I have to hope. Oh, look at that. I didn't go beyond the confines of the belly band with the glue. That is pretty much the only thing that's gone right for me today. So if I were you, I would put the adhesive on the belly band, not on the die cut. Because you never know. You don't want to glue your belly band to the card, right? All right. This one probably could have been a little bit looser too, but I think it's all right. Okay, so now we can put the greeting on, and I know my greeting is a little bit longer than my terracotta tile piece. So I didn't bring the glue all the way to the edge. All right, so there you go. There's your card. So we have our belly band, we have our fancy fold, we have our designer series papers. So you can see a multitude of the papers that are available in the collection. all on one card. This is the one that I made ahead of time. And on the inside, I stamped "Your Friendship is a Blessing" from one of our other stamp sets. I'm drawing a complete blank on which one that is at the moment. And I guess I didn't bring it down. And then I stamped the single flower image that comes in the stamp set in the Ornate Garden style. So that's this stamp right here. I stamped it in Memento Black, and then I used a, oh my gosh. The heck is the name of that pen? Oh, good Lord, Mary. If I only had a brain. What did I use? I didn't use my aqua painter because I don't like the way that pills the Whisper White. I could have used markers if I had had the terracotta tile marker, but I don't yet. So I didn't use that. Blender pens. Good grief. That's what I used. I used a blender pen. And they come in a 3-pack from the annual catalog for $12. I used that to pick up ink from the inside of my stamp pad just by squishing and getting some ink on the inside of that cover. Picked it up with the blender pen, and I used the terracotta tile and the old olive to just bring some of that color from here into the inside of my card. So there's the fancy fold with the belly band. So we have this one. This is the original card that I shared with you that everyone was wanting to learn how to create the card style. And then this is the card that I came up with for an alternate using product that's currently available, as the Ornate Style Suite doesn't become available until the 1st. And this alternate uses product that's currently available in the mini catalog, as well as current Celebration product. So don't forget, we only have a few days left of Celebration, so you only have a few days left to pick up your freebies with every $50 incremental purchase. We also only have a few days left for the coordination product release. So that's all the dies that they came out with mid-celebration to coordinate with some of those items. And the Pleased as Punch designer series paper that we use to create these cards, that will also retire on March 31st. So there's a lot disappearing on the 31st. I know my head is spinning. Don't forget too, our in colors that are retiring this year, especially now where everybody is doing social distancing and being isolated. There's a lot of crafting going on. So I'm expecting that a lot of the retiring in color cardstock and the re-inkers and the designer series papers that coordinate with them could sell out a lot sooner than we've usually seen that happening. I know my stamping and crafting has increased like tenfold as I stay here, isolated with just me and the dogs. And I'm placing more orders than usual because I'm going through Whisper White cardstock like crazy and adhesive. So just keep that in mind when you're checking through your Celebration items or checking through your retiring in colors, that people are amping up their crafting. And if you are running low on some of your staples, now is a great time to order them because you can take advantage of all of those Celebration products. So if you are going to be placing those orders, I would really appreciate it if you don't already have a demonstrator that you've been loyal to, that you consider placing your order with me. And I will have links for all of these products up as soon as I can get my laptop hooked up and start sharing that for you. So thank you very much for joining me. Sorry we had to do it in 2 parts. I hope you've enjoyed our Saving Our Sanity Sunday share, and I look forward to crafting with you again tomorrow. So thank you very much, everybody, and you have a great Sunday night. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.